left behind in the good old days, they just keep on coming. Yeah, we're moving on. Got the world with me and no place I'd rather be than rolling.
Maybe I'll just aim at Sophie's face right now. She's like, "Ooh, refills?"
When you forget to shut the door, the dogs eat the cat food every time. Come here, honey.
You both just ate. You both just ate like 3 seconds ago. Like, I just fed you, and now you're like begging for food. Like you've never eaten before in your lives. Look how fat you are.
What kills me is I knew, because we already have the bedroom door locked. I'm like, okay, I have to shut the bathroom door when I walk out. And instantly I walk out and forget to shut it.
Never fails.
Like, instantly. Okay, I have to shut the door.
Shut the door.
Okay.
Make sure it shuts up, so it tries to push it open.
It sure does, right? Yeah.
So I've already cleaned up the carpet outside and the trash can outside.
Okay.
Started prepping. I plugged in the GPS.
Did you check on gas
Yeah.
prices and all that?
Yeah, I looked at the Open Road app and got us a gas price. $5.46.
546.
5.46. Yeah. I think it's marked at 5.90. About 15-20 minutes from our destination. So I'll stop on the way,
Yep.
top off, and then we'll be good to boondock.
The last time we got gas, it was $5.59 or something.
Yeah, 5.59, 5.65, something like that. Seems like it's coming down a little tiny bit.
A little bit.
I don't know if it's coming down 100%. It's come down a lot more. Comes down a lot more, Lucy. What do you think about that? A lot more.
Alright, so I'm just going to make some quick breakfast. Quick breakfast, and then we will unhook and be on our way.
Sounds like a plan to me. So we made it to Battlefield Brew Works in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Harvest Host.
Harvest Host for the win.
Plenty of space for us, as you see.
Lots of side lots, and other lots and back lots. Check out this building. This is the brewery.
Let's go to the front.
Distillery? Is there a front door?
Well, no, but I want to show the front of the house.
Oh, okay.
So the history of this is it was an old hospital during the Civil War.
My bet is this house right here next to it has something to do with it too. That was probably the doctor's house.
Maybe,
Had to do something.
but this has a lot of history to it.
This was a Civil War hospital. How awesome is that? Stained glass. Oh, careful. You pull the... Do you see this? This is the way the door closes.
I know, it's so cool. And look, they have the silver medal and their whiskey.
Oh, awesome.
There's the area map. There we go. This
Oh,
is
there we
awesome.
go. Yeah, we're going to need that for tomorrow.
Yes, we will. Okay.
We just closed down the brewery.
We did.
Drinks are really good.
They're so good. The whiskey beer, but is that what it's called? Like the bourbon beer?
Stout.
Yeah.
The whiskey
that,
stout.
delicious. And then no, I did not. And then the something biter. The drink, the fruity drink, the pineapple drink.
Do we need to go back in for the menu?
It was
Because
delicious.
we got other Harvest Hosters over here, and they already got their generator on, so I'm not going to feel bad when I go fire mine up.
Seriously. But what was amazing was that I feel like the prices, after being in DC, the prices here in Gettysburg are awesome.
Wow, yeah, they're super cheap.
Yeah, I felt like for 4 drinks, his 2 whiskey and cokes and my 1 foo-foo pineapple drink, and then my whiskey barrel beer, whatever that was. Like after all that, you said it was what, $24?
Yeah, well, the food wasn't included in that. That was $24 for drinks.
Well, yeah, then we got some French fries and onion rings.
$7
But the vegan go-to for a bar kind of food, and that was $13. So, but still.
Yeah, not bad.
No, not bad at all. I'll take it.
It's getting kind of chilly out.
It's a little chilly.
You cold?
It's a little cold. But, like, look at this house. Like, I will take it. It's concrete. It's level. Well, mostly level.
It's level everywhere except for where I am.
But I feel like that's our auto leveler's fault. That's a whole nother YouTube video. And then we've been calling about our batteries. So that's in the works as well. It's getting our batteries changed out. But it is a little chilly right now.
All right.
All right. Well,
let's go fire it up. All right.
It's cold.
It's a little cold out today. So today we're going to go tour the battlefields of Gettysburg.
You already have the drone?
I have the drone packed away.
well, before we jump in, let's explain what we're doing.
Go ahead, let's explain.
Okay. So we bought, Brad did lots of research, and we bought a $10 app that is, it's officially an app, right?
It's an app that you pay $10 and get a code to unlock the app, and you do a driving tour of all of the battlefields of Gettysburg, but it has audio hooked up to your phone and a GPS, so it tells you a little bit about each battle and battlefield and location and historical stop. So I'm super excited. It's
supposed to take 2 hours, and we're very excited. And then afterwards, we're going to walk around the little downtown Main Street and shops. This is an amazing Harvest Host stop. What's it called again? Battlefield
Brew Works.
Brew Works. And little side note, it said max length per RV was 35 feet, and we're 40. And I didn't look at that until we're almost 5 minutes away, and I said, ooh, I hope that's not an issue. It's not an issue.
Not an issue. We have plenty of room behind us, plenty of room in front of us. You could probably put 2-3 40-footers in here.
Yeah.
Next to us, it's just a whole big,
but you know what that means?
Big wide open parking lot.
That means, as we do our harvest hosting research, that a lot of the places have 35 max, and now I'll probably do a little more research with pictures and maps to see if it really is true, because it could have opened up a lot more spots for us cross country. Here we go, starting our tour.
The Civil War Battle of Gettysburg. Here, Union forces staged a nearly impossible defense against Confederate attackers, and won. Here's how this tour guide app works. The app knows your location. It will play different audio stories as you move from spot to spot.
That's awesome.
Be sure to follow the directions and route for the best experience. The stories will begin playing automatically right before you approach an interesting spot, giving you plenty of time to look, pause, or even park.
The Civil War has many well-known battles. Gettysburg isn't the final battle of the war, nor is it the first. So why is it so famous? Turn left onto Baltimore Road. This is the battle that completely turned the tide of the war. Until Gettysburg, the Confederates were in the lead. This decisive battle allowed the Union to change the course of history. Gettysburg also showcased the talents and failings of the Civil War's greatest military minds, Union Commander George Meade versus Confederate Commander Robert E. Lee.
Uniforms, jewelry. I mean, part of the fun of this tour is being able to scope out where we want to shop.
Forget learning about history. Let's just go shopping.
Now, continue through the intersection.
Wow.
You'll pass a few monuments and then cross a bridge spanning railroad tracks. This is the railway cut, and it was the site of a major strategic misstep during the battle. Just after the bridge, pull over and pause.
I love how it tells you exactly what to do. Yeah. You know what it needs, though? It needs Morgan Freeman's voice.
This was a misstep.
Okay, so we're going over the railroad tracks right now. So there's railroad tracks.
Yeah, right over it.
Park here and walk back to the bridge overlooking the railway cut.
There, I think.
It's still the morning of July 1st. Buford's men have been reinforced by Reynolds and Cutler. Here, 3 regiments of infantrymen under Cutler try to hold their ground. Before the war, Cutler was only a businessman.
He had limited military experience, but he heeded the call of his country and rose to the task of leadership. Here, he's taxed to his limit. His 3 regiments are badly outnumbered by Confederate men led by Brigadier General Joseph Davis. Confederate soldiers attack from the west and the north. Cutler's men rush to fill the gaps, but they can't cover both sides. With bullets whizzing all around, Cutler calls for a retreat. But one of his 3 regiments doesn't hear the order. As the rest of their comrades pull back, the 147th New York find themselves surrounded by the enemy. Some fight and are cut down. Others flee and suffer the same fate. Only a few escape. The Confederates seize their new advantage. They plan to attack McPherson's Ridge, now behind us, from this northern position. They jump into the railway cut, thinking it will provide perfect cover. Once inside, they realize their mistake. The cut is too deep. They can't reach over the sides to fire at approaching Union soldiers.
Oh no.
Quickly, the
Sitting
Confederate
ducks.
men try to clamber back out and retreat, but they face another problem. The cut is too steep. Union forces descend and it's a bloodbath. In a hail of gunfire, what's left of the broken Confederate regiments escape to the west. Even after the rout at the railway cut, Union soldiers are in a difficult strategic position. They're starting to falter, and the Confederates know it. At General Lee's command, Confederate General Ewell redoubles his assault, heedless of exhausting his soldiers. Ewell is certain that if they can drive Union forces off the 3 ridges, they will win the battle. So he orders his men to buckle down and fight with all they've got. But the fighting will last much longer than either Ewell or Lee anticipate. The casualties racked up on the Confederate side on the first day will prove disastrous to their later efforts.
You know what's crazy is it's so pretty, but
Everyone
bad
engaged
stuff
in this
happens.
battle has something to lose, but someone far away also sits on the edge of his seat, awaiting results. President Abraham Lincoln. The war so far has taken a great toll on his nation. If Lincoln can't end it soon, he stands no chance of enacting the reforms he envisions. Gettysburg could well be the linchpin that either allows him to retake control of the United States or puts an end to his presidency. Lincoln's greatest adversary in the war is the strategic mind of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Born to a wealthy plantation owner in Virginia, Lee has grown up in luxury, but he sees that luxury vanish as a teenager when his father loses the family wealth. His world now upside down and prospects slim, Lee chooses West Point Military Academy. There, he distinguishes himself as a born leader, and later as an officer in the Mexican-American War. Lee's superiors describe him as the very best soldier that I ever saw in the field. Though he's an excellent soldier, Lee isn't known to be a good man. He owns hundreds of slaves, inherited through his wife. According to some reports, he treats them so harshly that they try to revolt, many times. When the Civil War breaks out, Lincoln asks Lee to take command of Union forces, but he refuses, resigns his position, and takes up arms for the Confederacy.
Wow. I never knew that.
We're close to this area that this guy drew the map for,
Uh-huh. Oh, where the,
where we're going to go look. We're going to get out of the car and go look at this. But
Okay.
it's a 2nd Maryland for the CSA monument. And he showed me a picture of it, and it looks like this.
Okay.
The big, not the one here, but
Yeah.
the one that looks like
the bigger one?
in the back, farther one.
Oh,
by
farther.
The tree.
Uh-huh.
I think that's where
That's where we're
headed.
supposed to see, not ghosts, but is that...
No, that right there. See the X behind
Yeah.
this? So basically, there's a monument, and then there's a
Uh-huh.
rock, and behind that was where the Confederate burial ground
Oh,
was.
the burial ground. That's right. They were telling us yesterday
Yeah.
when we were at the Harvest Host.
Right.
That's the other thing about Harvest Hosting. Again, we don't get paid to sponsor them, not yet anyway. But every time we go to a Harvest Host and we meet the locals who are at the brewery or winery or museum, we get to learn so much local, like, little secrets and stops that always enhance our whole experience.
Notice that white pillar up ahead.
Eternal.
That's the Eternal Light Peace Memorial.
He said to go back through the peace.
Pause
memorial.
here.
Peace light.
Okay.
The memorial commemorates the reunification of the United States. Maine granite forms the base, while Alabama limestone forms the pillar, a symbolic unification of North and South. An eternal flame of peace burns at the top, representing an eternally united nation.
I see
Oh,
the
yeah,
flame.
there's
In
the
a close
flame.
battle,
Can you see
sometimes
the
the smallest thing can make a serious difference. Want an example?
Cold.
Fences. Back in the 1800s, most farms around Gettysburg were surrounded by wooden fences. They often zigzagged across the land, giving rise to nicknames like Virginia worm or snake fences. Farmers needed them to mark their property boundaries and to keep wild animals out of their crops. But during the Battle for Gettysburg, these posed a real problem for Confederate troops. When charging at Union forces, Confederate soldiers often had to climb over these fences. This slowed them down and left them vulnerable to gunfire. It's impossible to say whether something as minor as this turned the tide of the battle, but some historians speculate that it just might have. Who would have thought a simple fence could play a part in saving the United States of America? There's a dog sculpted on the other side of the statue's base. That's Battlefield Sally. She served as a mascot of the 11th Pennsylvania Infantry and accompanied these Union soldiers for most of the Civil War.
Aww.
While at military camp, Sally drilled with the soldiers, lined up for dress parades, and marched with the horses at the front of the regiment. And each time the 11th Infantry saw battle, Sally was right there on the front line, barking furiously at the enemy soldiers and guarding wounded comrades. During the first day of fighting at Gettysburg, Sally's regiment lost track of her and feared she had been killed. But days later, they found her atop Oak Ridge, still protecting her fallen brothers.
Aww.
Sally survived Gettysburg and went on to other battles. This brave pit bull was killed in action in 1865 during a Union attack on Hatcher's Run, Virginia. Under heavy fire, with bullets tearing through the air all around, several men of the 11th Infantry charged across the killing field to retrieve Sally's body and give her the burial she deserved.
Aww.
Dedicated in 1859, commemorates both the 11th Pennsylvania Infantry and their loyal United cause. Often, the drummers were children or teenagers.
You hear that?
They were considered too young to fight, but neither the Union nor the Confederacy wanted to turn away their support. Both sides needed all the help they could get. These boys couldn't wield a rifle, but they could beat a drum. Some of these drummers were as young as 10. During chaotic battles, drummers also helped to convey orders from commanders that might otherwise be lost in the roar of combat. For example, certain drum beats signaled attack, while others signaled retreat. Despite their youth, these drummers were not spared from enemy fire. Many died on the front lines alongside their rifle-bearing countrymen.
Look at how many stairs there are. Puppy, hi.
Down.
Hi, sweetheart. Ah. One down, 160 billion more to go. I wonder if I'll get better Wi-Fi up here. Isn't it bad my feet are already hurting? Not my feet, my legs.
These woods aren't just good for long streets of concealment, but also for protection from gunfire and artillery. After all, it's much harder to hit a target when they're weaving through dense woods. That is, it's harder for some people. Certainly not for Union sharpshooter Colonel Hiram Berdan and his brigade. Wearing special green uniforms, these marksmen begin laying waste to the advancing Confederates before anyone knows what's happening. The average soldier can't hit a target at anything farther than 100 yards. Berdan's men, however, are deadly accurate up to 600 yards.
Oh my gosh.
Through trees and rocks and shrubs, they take aim and fire, again and again, hitting their mark. The precision of these shots terrifies men at the front of the charge, but they can't stop or turn back. All the Confederate soldiers can do is rush forward, watch their comrades fall around them, and hope the next perfectly placed bullet doesn't have their name on it.
Wow.
The Virginia State Monument is pretty hard to miss. Turn left towards the statue. Dedicated in 1917, this was the first Confederate monument unveiled here in Gettysburg. Atop the 28-foot granite pedestal stands none other than General Robert E. Lee astride his horse Traveler. Lee surveys Cemetery Hill, where the Union soldiers fortify themselves after July 1st. At the monument's base, 6 figures stand ready for Lee's orders. These men represent the artillery, infantry, and cavalry divisions of the Confederate Army. This monument is much larger than the other Confederate monuments in Gettysburg because Virginia's army formed the largest contingent of the Confederate forces during the battle. Lee also faces the location of the famous Pickett's Charge, which you'll hear all about when we get to the third and final day of the battle. In a few moments, we'll see Warfield Ridge. Longstreet marches his men here to launch his assault on Little Round Top. The dense forest continues to provide cover to his divisions as they get into position. But there's one major drawback he didn't anticipate. The trees are too dense. Men struggle to march, caught among thick branches and shrubs. It might be comical if it weren't for the crippling heat. Longstreet had hoped to attack in the morning, but only now, at 4 p.m., are his men finally ready and his reinforcements in place. The afternoon sun beats down. The air is humid and stagnant. Most soldiers, having expected to attack much earlier, have run out of water. They send out a team to refill their canteens, but Union patrols are ready for this. They capture the canteen team, and water never reaches Confederate lines. Still, as overheated and thirsty as they are, it's too late to back down. The signal comes to attack. With a great cry, the Confederates charge towards Little Round Top. That hill on your left is the famous Little Round Top. Pull into the parking lot ahead and walk up.
Okay.
Let's get back to the Union's defense against Longstreet's charge. Remember how I mentioned that scouts told Longstreet there were hardly any defenders atop the hill? Well, that was true in the morning, but by the afternoon, it's changed completely. Union Colonel Vincent noted the abject lack of defenders and spent the morning filling in the gaps. By now, he's positioned 4 new regiments on the hilltop. When the parched Confederates try to charge up the hill in the blazing July heat, they meet the full force of this new defensive array. Union soldiers repel one attack, then another, then a third. Time and again, Longstreet's Confederates fail to reach the summit and are pushed back, more battered and demoralized than ever. Then the Union regiments start running out of ammunition. Without missing a beat, they fix bayonets to their rifles and charge down the hill. The exhausted Confederate soldiers don't even bother to fight. They just throw down their weapons and surrender, or turn tail and flee.